Hello, everybody. I'm Krasi. I will be looking at the next 15 days and what are they giving us? What will be the celestial configurations? Very important 15 days because we are in the so-called eclipse corridor, meaning that today we are experiencing the solar eclipse and 15 days later, on the 5th of May, we're experiencing the lunar eclipse. So the first one is when the moon is eclipsing the sun because they are in a close proximity, they're in a close conjunction. And the next one, the lunar one, is when they are in opposition, and this is on the 5th of May. Now, of course, I will be looking at how the eclipse looks for us on the sky. After that, of course, I'll be looking at each of the 15 lunar days as of the appearance of the first moon after the eclipse. Now, you see the Babylonian perspective when analyzing eclipses was very interesting. You know, even the King Sargon the Great was like obsessed with eclipses. His main writings, what we found now on not now, but what we found on cuneiforms, his main analysis was on eclipses. Now, this eclipse is not very different than the eclipses of last year because, you know, the lunar nodes until end of October, Rahu and Ketu will be in on the axis of Aries Libra. So of course, there is where we are also experiencing the eclipses. So we cannot limit ourselves with analyzing only the first eclipse because they always go in couple and they complete each other. Now, the first eclipse, according to the Babylonian analysis, is happening in the in the morning watch and is completing the watch. Now, what is this meaning? You know, they would divide the days and the nights into sections, which they call watches. And based on that, they would predict what the eclipses would bring us. So when there is an eclipse in the first watch, they believe the influence of this eclipse will be the effect of the eclipse will be lasting for about 10 months from the moment of the eclipse. Then this eclipse would have, of course, it is important where the eclipse, geographically, which areas the shadow of the eclipse is covering. And it is a total eclipse. Why is it a total eclipse? Because it is happening within 5 degrees from the lunar nodes. So this eclipse is going to have very serious impact on Russia and Iran. How exactly? Now it is very interesting. Classically, the ancients would believe that when there is benevolent planet participating in the eclipse, then a very big part of the evil will be destroyed. There is also one interesting omen saying when Jupiter, who in the Babylonian mythology is God Marduk, he's the king. You know that the whole Babylon he was the main divinity, he was the patron of Babylon. The whole Babylon would be really praising Jupiter in his form of Marduk. So there is this belief, there is this omen when Jupiter is in the eclipse, there is a danger for the king, but they say there will be replacement who will take the negativity from the eclipse, meaning what I'll tell you what I read that they've been doing. It sounds very extreme to us. When there was a bad omen, you know, for the king, and usually the kings, the eclipses were analyzed mainly to see what is happening to the king, not so much for the people. They wouldn't care so much about the people. So the king Jupiter is participating in the eclipse, and when they would see that the result of the eclipse is negative for the king, they would do something very crazy. They would replace the king temporarily until the evil energies are active, which would be, let's say, 10 months, because we know eclipse in the morning watch lasts 10 months. So they will put a replacement for 10 months, and after that they would kill him because he's taking the negativity. So this is what they say for this eclipse. Then also they say that this eclipse will be good in a sense that the sick will recover. And yes, Jupiter is participating in the eclipse. On one hand, for us, the people, maybe this could mean some the evil will be destroyed. For the king, it's who is the king now? That's the point. Who is the king? These are the contemporary visible ruling figures, of course, obviously. This would be very visible and very much the influence goes to Russia, to Iran as well. Of course, the countries where the eclipse is, the shadow is passing, and I will tell you which are they. Southeast Asia, Australia, Pacific, Indian Ocean, Antarctica. Then we have the 2nd, 5th, 6th of May, the lunar eclipse. And there we have which countries? It is Europe, big part of Europe, big part of Asia, Australia, Africa, much bigger shadow, Africa, Pacific, Atlantic, Indian Ocean. It is also believed that the lunar eclipses influence more the people, though the solar are more related to the king. Now, the second one, the lunar eclipse, it will have more impact on Akkad, which is contemporary Europe. It is happening in the evening, which is also meaning Akkad, and in the 14th day, lunar day, meaning it will have impact still on Russia and Iran. So more than America, there will be influence, and the eclipse in the evening watch, especially when completed, means death of people, and famous noble will die. Yes, this is basically this is also the whole month of Nisan, because both eclipses take part in the first lunar month, which is Nisan, really have to do with contemporary Elam, which is Russia, Iran, and all these countries around Russia. So this, of course, I will remind you, eclipses are not considered to be benevolent events, even they were very, very dramatic. I haven't seen positive analysis of eclipse. However, let me remind you, last year we had 4 eclipses on the same axis for the same reason. It is, of course, the position of the lunar nodes on the axis of Aries Libra, but they were more negative, more evil, I would even say, for many reasons. One was the position of Saturn, who was squaring the eclipse points, and this was very, very heavy. The second one is due to the second reason why it was more negative, of course, it was because there was no Jupiter in the eclipse point. To remind you what I just said in the beginning, when benevolent planet is participating in the eclipse, this is positive. This is very important point. Of course, we need to take into consideration how the ancients considered the presence of Jupiter to be an omen. Then, very interesting now in these 2 eclipses, which complete each other, is that the eclipses start from the so-called knot of in Aries, which is this point when you have the 2 fishes tied. You know, the 2 Pisces, the 2 fishes are tied. They form knot. This knot is like any knot on the sky. It is a constellation. And this knot is not benevolent. So the eclipse starts from there, the moon is traveling from there and continues through the mouth, the jaws of Aries, and goes, this is for the first eclipse, and continues with the second eclipse. It's going right in the back parts of the Aries, of the celestial ram. Starts from the mouth, completes the body of Aries, and exits from the back parts, you know. So this is not benevolent. It is about not very lucky indeed. It is about speech exposure that we will see lots of lies, but also exposure of lies. Because don't forget, the eclipses are portals for change, for information, for these are portals. So these degrees are also important. All happens in well, in Aries Libra. Now the other thing is that when the second eclipse takes place on the 5th, 6th of May, one that is more influential because takes bigger part of the world, including Europe, America. It also passes through very important stars. The moon passes through very important stars in Libra, in the constellation of the Northern Crown. And there we have the star Gemma. So this will be about the star Gemma is the star of glory, design, beauty. So this may trigger some good things in a sense of opening up for new artistic, maybe trends or talents will be born. But on the other hand, of course, it is showing the, if you want, the greatness, the importance of this eclipse, because it will be about noble people, which will be really influenced, afflicted, because the star Gemma is a star in the Northern Crown. It's all about the crown. It's all about ruling powers. So this is important also to consider. Of course, I remind you, don't worry so much. Now we'll just watch and see. We will see lots of exposure. We will see scandals with ruling figures. We will see some scandals with very, very ugly, with kings and whatnot. And of course, we need to be a little bit careful around the timing of the eclipse corridor. So what is the meaning of the eclipse corridor? It started a week before the eclipse, which is 13th, 14th already of April. And then it completes the month of course, April up until 5th of May. And let's count 7 days more. So you have 7 days before the first eclipse and 7 days before after the second eclipse, and this is forming your eclipse corridor. And this is a point of attention, especially for people who have sidereal ascendant Aries or tropical Taurus, or moon in Aries, or moon in tropical Taurus, or sidereal ascendant Libra, moon in Libra, or tropical ascendant Scorpio, moon in Scorpio, also sun, by the way, but more like my experience shows that people who have moon kind of feel it a little bit more heavier. So how to be careful? Well, don't take any risks, especially during the corridor. And remember, the ancient said it may take up to 10 months. By the way, the duration of the second eclipse, because it happened in the night watch, is adding up 3 months. So we have influence of the first one, 10 days, and then influence of the second one, 3 months. To be a little bit more careful, but especially the peak is during the eclipse corridor. So to be a little bit more careful, especially with these ascendants. Yes, careful is carefully travel, carefully be careful in any situation. Don't get in risky situation or in disputes, conflicts. Stay away from such risks, really. Because this is eclipse. This only God knows exactly what may happen, you know. But to be careful it keeps you on the safe side. Saying this, of course, I will make tomorrow a complete analysis of the month of the coming month of May, with taking with the influence of the eclipses, and also I will be looking at the 12 ascendants for you. So this will be separate video. Now I will be telling you about the days, which actually are exactly the days of the eclipse corridor. So we'll be looking at these 15 days to come as prolongation of my previous video, which was about the previous days to come. So today, 20th, is the eclipse. Then you have, of course, tomorrow, still under the influence. And on this 22nd, the moon already, the 22nd of April, the moon appears for the first time. And with this, we are having the first lunar day of the month of Airo. Even on the 21st, actually, on the 21st of April, we will see the first lunar crescent, which is happening after the sun is setting. And this is the first of Airo, Babylonian Airo. This is the second lunar month. But again, during these 15 days, which I will be explaining you about day by day, we need to be a little bit more cautious. I will tell you, I had situation when the eclipse was not really afflicting my horoscope, and I was driving at night. Just was a very, very long drive, about 3,000 kilometers, and I was driving at night, and I knew it was eclipse. There was I think there was the lunar eclipse, the one which is a bit stronger to feel, to perceive. And I just remember how on my right side, it was very dark, how on my right side, I was seeing the eclipse, and it was a bit heavy to watch. Normally I avoid watching. And I remember that at one point, right in the middle of forest, without any street lights, without any cars, because it was very late at night, my car lost electricity completely, like completely, blackout completely. And I cannot explain you how unfortunate this is, because there were no people, absolute darkness, and you'd see just the eclipse on your right side. And especially when you're an astrologer, your fantasy, you exactly start imagining what this eclipse may bring you. Of course, people helped me, but I'm just telling you, this was a moment when the eclipse was not influencing, not even afflicting my horoscope whatsoever. And this happened to me without any reason, just like that. My car lost electricity. So just to illustrate that we cannot so much in a very great detail predict what one eclipse will bring you. We only need to be careful. Of course, we have our free will. We have certain powers as part of the great creation. Of course, with prayers, with our thought forms, we can we can change events. I think with my case, I was not very wise even to drive during at night. So just gave you example. Now, let's see, 21st of April, first lunar crescent of the Babylonian Airo, and the moon is appearing, to tell you, not in very good degrees. The moon is appearing in the last degrees of Aries, malefic. This will be a bit heavy 15 days to come. We may feel a little bit stuck. These 15 days will not be great for new beginnings. They will not be great for very important initiatives. If, let's say, you have to start new business, I would tell you, rather wait. Don't hurry so much. If you have to do medical interventions, same thing, I will tell you, don't hurry so much, wait until these energies are completely gone. Let's see what is happening on Saturday, the 22nd, still under the influence of the first lunar day of the Babylonian month Aero. Now, like I'm telling you, not much to do. Just do your routine, do spiritual work. You can plant, you can do very beautiful agriculture work, but I wouldn't even do medical interventions. I would really be careful, even when driving. Um, then you have 23rd of April. And I forgot to tell you, of course, this is Friday. No, sorry, this would be Saturday. It will be um, about ruled by Saturn, and we do the usual thing in order to be connected with nature. We welcome the sun. You know, Saturn is ruling your day. You imagine dark blue aura around yourselves, and you can wear amethyst. Then we have the second lunar day of Sunday, 23rd of April. Now this is more benevolent, of course, but we have affliction. The moon is in very good degrees, conjoined Venus, beautiful. But affliction from Saturn, not good for new beginnings. Just maintain your regular business, your work. You may do beauty procedures, but not invasive. We have affliction. You may be a little bit careful how you trade, how you deal with finances. The day is Sunday, ruled by the sun. You welcome the sun. You know, sun is ruling the day. Great for your health, enlightenment, to support your good moods, to heal melancholy. So you imagine the aura around yourself to be red, and you can wear a ruby. But this day, no medical interventions, agriculture work, flower planting, beautiful. Then we have Monday, 24th of April. This is the third lunar day. Again, the same thing. Watch out a little bit how you deal with finances, because well, Saturn is squaring, and these degrees can generate higher expenses. If you welcome the sun on this day, because this is Monday, you know, the moon is ruling the day. She's ruling fertility. She's ruling the nature. So our health, our body. So, you know, moon is ruling the day. You can imagine light green aura around yourselves, and you can wear Larimar, let's say. The day is good to maintain your status quo, the business. It's good to plant flowers, trees, everything above, growing above the soil, for example. Then you have 25th of April, which is the fourth lunar day, very powerful, a bit more benevolent, great for trade, business, spiritual work. You can even travel already, but everything careful, you know, because remember, we're in eclipse corridor. Great for spiritual work, for negotiations, even. It is a day ruled by Mars. You welcome the sun. You know, Mars is ruling the day, and you can imagine around yourselves the aura to be red, and you can wear garnet. This day is also good for agriculture, planting, no new beginnings. Then we have 26th of April, fifth lunar day, again, very powerful, good for travel, again, carefully negotiations, trade, spiritual work, teaching, studying, sharing your knowledge with others, planting. It is a day ruled by Mercury. Wednesday, you welcome the sun. You know, Mercury is ruling the day. You imagine the aura around yourself to be, when you welcome the sun, of course, in the morning, you imagine the aura around yourself to be light green, and you can wear emerald. Then we have moon no course, which is 27th of April, 6th lunar day. Now here, not much to do, just maintain your business, your work, study, teach, just you do your routine, no medical interventions, no new beginnings. The day is ruled by Jupiter. You welcome the sun, you know, Jupiter is ruling the day. And you can imagine the aura around yourself to be light yellow, orange, and you can wear citrine. And now we have 28th of April, seventh lunar day, a little bit critical as usual, and also participates in a square. We have to be a bit more careful. Careful when traveling, no medical interventions, good for spiritual work, good for meditation, good for helping others, philosophical teachings, psychological, good for you may, if you travel, you may need to be a little bit more careful. No medical interventions, great to help others to do such work. It is Friday. You welcome the sun. You know, Venus is ruling the day. You imagine the aura around yourself to be light, white, and you can wear pink quartz. Then we have 29th of April, which is 8th lunar day. Now, again, quite similar situation, not appropriate for medical interventions, for new beginnings, good for helping others, teaching, good for meditation, spiritual work. The day is ruled by Saturn. Welcome the sun. You know, Saturn is ruling the day, and you can wear amethyst, let's say. And then it is, we have 30th of April. The moon is afflicted, but still in quite good degrees in the heart of the lion. Good to work on our courage to fight melancholy. Good for studying, very good, because this leads to enlightenment, really. It is Sunday, day of the sun. You welcome the sun. You know, the sun is ruling the day, and you can wear a ruby and imagine the aura around yourself to be red or orange. These days great for this, for studying, teaching. You can do agriculture work. You can to travel, be a little bit careful, negotiate, be a little bit careful, but is good for well, fighting melancholy, building courage. Quite similar is the next lunar day, which is already the 1st of May. And this is the 10th lunar day. Quite similar situation, be a little bit careful. Opposition from Saturn, which is affliction of both. So, and it is Monday, you welcome the sun, you know, the moon is ruling the day, and you can imagine the aura around yourself to be light green, and you can wear Larimar. The day is good for enlightenment, building courage, fighting melancholy, studying, teaching, like that. And then we have 2nd of May, which is Tuesday, day of Mars. You welcome the sun. You know, Mars is ruling the day. You imagine the aura around yourself to be red, and you can wear garnet. This day is good for studying, practicing, teaching astrology. Good for, you may travel, you may negotiate, you may do spiritual practices, you may do agriculture work, medical interventions, if not invasive, you can do. And now we have 3rd of May, which is Wednesday, a similar thing, day of Mercury. You can study, teach others, do astrology, travel, negotiate, but everything carefully. We have, on one hand, square by Mars, but good aspect from Venus. On another hand, we are approaching the eclipse. We can study, we can do healing practices, of course, and it is a day of Mercury We can welcome the sun. You imagine Mercury is ruling the day. You green color, green aura, and you can wear an emerald. And then we have 4th of May, which is Thursday. The same thing. The moon is still in Virgo in good degrees, which are good for, for trade, but for teaching, for studying. But here we have almost exact square by Mars. So we have to be more careful when traveling, when negotiating. No medical interventions. Thursday day ruled by Jupiter. You welcome the sun. Jupiter is ruling the day, and you imagine the aura around yourself um, to be light orange, and you can wear citrine, for example. And now we're already really approaching the eclipse. The moon already is preparing to make opposition to the sun. This is already 5th of May. 5th and 6th are the two more critical days. This will be Friday and Saturday. These are the eclipse days. What to tell you? Don't worry. Avoid watching the eclipse. If you feel a little bit melancholic or worried, remember this is very natural. Just connect with the stars, do your spiritual practices, and remember that this is temporary and it's all meant to happen. This is part of the universal principles. So, and after that, after the eclipse already from 7th May on, we'll be looking at the next 15 days. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the best, and see you soon.